Hello everyone. Today I, Jash Butadra from Corporate Law Journal, welcome you all to this channel. As you all know, the purpose of this initiative is to explore corporate literacy and to impart corporate legal education in a simple and lucid manner. In today's session, we'll understand a report on the measures for strengthening the enforcement mechanism of the board and incidental issues. This committee was held under the chairmanship of Justice Anil R. Dave, retired Judge, Supreme Court of India. Before starting with today's session, please subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon for more updates on corporate and commercial laws. I would like to inform everyone that for understanding purposes, only Part A of this report will be discussed in this particular video. Now, before we discuss Part A of this report, we need to understand that the Security Exchange Board of India was set up with the primary objective to protect the investors' interest and also regulate the trading of securities in the securities market. However, the committee considered various issues pertaining to the enforcement mechanism of the board and made recommendations thereon to make it more robust and efficient. The objectives that this committee intended to achieve were, firstly, a review of the Security and Exchange Board of India Settlement of Administrative and Civil Proceedings Regulations 2014. Another was the review of the enforcement mechanism of the board, particularly the recovery mechanism which is mentioned under the securities law. And lastly, explore the means of legislating a methodology for quantification of the factors which is enshrined under Section 15J of the Security and Exchange Board of India Act 1992, Section 19I of the Depositories Act 1996 and Section 23J of the Securities Contract Regulation Act 1956. This report is divided into four parts, namely Part A, Review of Intermediaries Regulation, Part B, which talks about the recovery of monies under the security law, Part C, dealing with quantification of profit and loss and related issues, and Part D, which deals with interface between securities laws and insolvency laws. For better understanding for everyone, there will be 4 separate episodes dedicated to each part of this particular report. In today's episode, we'll cover Part A of this report. Before we start discussing Part A, which deals with review of intermediaries regulations, it's imperative for us to understand certain abbreviations which are used in the video forward. One is DA, which is designated authority, another is DM, that is designated member, and third, wherever intermediaries regulation is stated, it means Security and Exchange Board of India Intermediaries Regulation 2008, and the SEBI Act, which is the Securities and Exchange Board of India Act of 1992. Now, before we discuss the review of intermediaries regulation in detail, we need to understand the importance of an intermediary and its role. Now, the securities market is largely built on the infrastructure and services which are provided by the intermediaries. So if there's any deficiency which takes place in the functioning of an intermediary or any default happens from their end, that has the potential to impact the functioning of the whole securities market and erode investors' trust. The next question that comes to our mind is, who are intermediaries? To explain it in a very simple and layman language, intermediaries are the individuals who act as a link between capital providers and capital seekers in the securities market. The capital providers are the investors, especially retail investors, and capital seekers are the issuers who do not have adequate resources to reach out to individual investors spread across the world. Now, these intermediaries play a very crucial role in making the market matrix and ensuring smooth working of anonymous order-driven trading platforms. Now, for better understanding purpose, an exhaustive list of intermediaries is mentioned. The intermediaries mentioned in Clause B and BA of subsection 2 of section 11 and subsection 1 and 1A of section 12 of the SEBI Act are given below. Now let us understand why is there a need for revision. Firstly, the reasons are: 1. The pendency of the inquiry proceedings, another the inquiry proceeding system in itself, that is the 2-tier inquiry proceeding system, and third, the time taken for disposal of inquiry cases. Now, when we talk about pendency of inquiry proceedings, as per the latest data available with SEBI, almost 408 inquiry proceedings are pending with the board. Another is the 2-tier inquiry proceeding system. In the first step, the fact-finding proceedings are done by the DA. In the second step, quasi-judicial proceedings are conducted before the DM of the board on the basis of the recommendations of the DA. This two-stage process adds to the time required in disposing of the proceedings. And lastly, time taken for disposal of inquiry cases. Now, the date of action which is approved for every proceeding till the date of the final order which is passed in an inquiry case in the year 2018-19 and the current financial year, it indicates that considerable amount of time is taken for completion of a particular case. Therefore, keeping these issues in mind, it was imperative for this committee to examine the options to ensure that the time consumed in the inquiry proceedings be reduced, and the same may be affected by simple and necessary amendments to the applicable provisions. After discussing various parts of this report, let us understand the most important part, that is the recommendations which were given by the committee. The first recommendation that was given was that there should be a change in the procedure of inquiry. As discussed earlier, the procedure for inquiry consists of two-tier, like it happens in two stages. In the first stage, the granting of personal hearing, inspection of documents, cross-examination is done by the DA. And after conducting a detailed inquiry and after considering all the representations and the facts and circumstances of the case, the DA submits the report recommending appropriate action as contemplated in the intermediaries regulation. And in the second stage, upon receipt of the report of the DA, the DM may issue a show cause notice calling upon the noticee to submit within 21 days a suitable response as to why action as recommended by the DA or any other action as contemplated in the intermediaries regulations may not be initiated against them. The change that is recommended by this committee is that the show cause notice may also clearly specify that no opportunity of personal hearing would be granted and all the submissions, if any, made be in the written form. This particular recommendation was discussed in detail in the report by the committee, and the main reason was that it would save a lot of time in the second stage where the matter is in the hands of DM. Whenever a DA or DM deals with the matters of inquiry proceedings, they are faced with the problem of taking into account relevant factors for adjudging the quantum of penalty. For this very same reason, the committee provided recommendation number 2. Recommendation number 2 deals with incorporation of provisions similar to Section 15J of the SEBI Act in the intermediaries regulations. Section 15J provides the solution to this problem. It deals with the relevant factors to be taken into account by adjudicating officer while adjudging the quantum of penalty under Section 15I of the SEBI Act. The intermediaries regulations do not have any provision similar to Section 15J, and therefore a provision similar to Section 15J shall be incorporated. This will guide the DA and DM to determine issuance of suitable directions. I thank you all for watching this video. I hope it was an informational one.